everyone. Welcome to another edition of Metis Warrior here with Timothy and Alexandria.
Hello, everybody.
And so today we're going to put out what may be shocking information for some of you. It shouldn't be shocking. It should be obvious. However, sometimes people get a little happy and giddy and they all excited because you got a little bit of crumbs of some information. The fact is, we've been asking the MNC for financials for quite some time. What did they do? They released a statement of claim. Was that a release of the financials? Was it? Oh, what it was a release of a statement of claim with some pieces of information financially related. So we are highly concerned with the fact that they still to date have not released the financials.
Well, as we know, the financials really tell the story of any organization, whether it be Metis or any other organization. Sort of the financials are a roadmap of what's going on within the organization, funds that are received from federal government, provincial government, and still on the MNC website, you'll note that the last financial statements that were made public or accessible for you to view are March 31st, 2020. So at the end of March 31st, 2022, it'll be 2 years since financials have been made accessible to public or Métis citizens. In
Are they
itself,
waiting for a photo op to do that so
well,
they can get a picture of Cassidy doing that? I wonder how many pictures she took in that weak ass speech she gave. Man, that was a weak ass speech about that release of the statement of claim. That was just, she is no appropriate leader for the MNC, period. If you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. That's just a fact of it, because the MNC president is not someone that needs to be mentored or trained into the position. They should already have the damn experience. So why was she put in there? Anyway, going back to the financials, here's the bullshit that they did. They didn't release them. They released a statement of claim with partial financials. We know with the Veterans Fund, yeah, they're talking about what, $9 million that went to Manitoba. Let me ask you something, Cassidy. Do you think you have the audacity to try to come into Manitoba and take the Veteran Fund money that the MMF has received from the Manitoba veterans? What the hell kind of shit is that? So you want money back from Manitoba, in that Veterans Fund money that, by the way, was not negotiated by you. It was to be split, right? So Manitoba did take partial of that money for the veterans in Manitoba. Now you want it back? Are you kidding me? Who the hell are you to want veteran funding money back? That is a bunch of bullshit.
I've had a thorn in my sash really related to the Métis Veterans Legacy Fund, because we know, according to the MNC financial statements dated March 31st, 2020, there was just over 29 million left of that particular fund. And again, we know that MNC financials, the last one that was released was March 31st, 2020. What happened to the MNC financials for 2021? Where are they? And another thing that really bothers me, and this is on the MNC website, they still have, and I've mentioned this so many times before, contact us. And it's care of Manitoba Métis Federation, Métis Veterans Legacy Program, 150 Henry Avenue. So why does the MNC still have on their website, and I have a date stamp on my screenshot, still to contact the Manitoba Métis Federation? So does that mean that the MMF is still part of the Métis Legacy Veterans Legacy Fund? Were they able to take that money and distribute it that way? I mean, it just seems like nothing is consistent. And why are you still directing people to this program, to the Manitoba Métis Federation on the MNC website. It's really contradictory and it's sending a mixed message. And then you do this statement of claim where you're alleging that $9 million from the Métis Veterans Legacy Fund went to MMF. So what is it? Like maybe
Does she not know that there's veterans in Manitoba?
so as a Métis citizen, you're getting not accurate information. Again, where's the 2021 MNC financials? So are the financials going to come out at the end of March 2022 and you're going to have 2 years of financials? Like, I'm not understanding why the 2021 financials did not come out, and there's so many inconsistencies, inaccuracies in regards to the Métis Veterans Legacy Fund. This is just absolutely ridiculous when you're given initially $30 million from the federal government, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, why is the financials not been released? That's what we actually asked for. We was not given that. We was actually giving a statement of claim, which actually in her video that she did, she said she's not going to talk about it anymore. I guess at the present time or whatever. So is this a distraction technique to keep us from asking about the state financials because of the statement of claim that was released? Is this just something to feed the people so they'll shut up about the financials? That is the question. Also, what I want to point out here is there's people on one side of the fence that supports all these other organizations, and then there's some people on the other side of the fence that support other organizations. Métis Warriors on the damn fence. We support the people. We are not on either side of the fence. We are bringing you criticism. We are bringing you questions of all organizations. And so there is an individual in British Columbia who said that he is a big believer in democracy and people questioning things. And but yet he seems a little butthurt right now. So get over it, man. Get over it, because that's what we do. We ask questions. The people have a right to ask questions.
And what we're referring to is, again, the January 27th, 2022 statement of claim, where all these various allegations against Chartier, Chartrand, and an individual named Wenda Wynett. And if I'm mispronouncing the last name, I apologize. And again, this is something that I have a problem with, and I've always had a problem as a Métis citizen. It's alleged, and this is an allegation, it's alleged that Wenda Watnier is not Métis and is not indigenous. This is alleged, and I have a problem with. I know there's a lot of highly qualified Métis individuals out there that could fill these positions, and I don't understand why non-indigenous, and it's alleged, non-Métis, non-indigenous alleged, have these positions of power when it comes to Métis organizations.
And let me just say this: they Chartier and Chartrand and Goudon and everybody's been out there hollering, these people ain't Métis, these people ain't Métis, blah blah blah. This ain't Métis, this ain't Métis. But then when you look deeper into it, well, hell, are they employing or working with in higher positions non-Métis themselves? What the hell kind of bullshit is that, man? So we need to not do that. There should not be anybody sitting on a board of a Métis organization that is not Métis. Now, how many times has the MNO been attacked? Yes, we're going to come back and deal with the MNO at a different time. But how many times has the MNO been attacked for having non-Métis? And now it seems like, didn't this lady who's allegedly not Métis, and we don't know because we haven't seen her genealogy, but there's some reputable sources out there that are telling us that she is not Métis, but didn't she start out there with the MNO?
Well, this is right from the MNO website. In 2016, she was working for the Métis Nation of Ontario as acting chief operating officer. And the MNO on their website in 2016 also indicated that she was the executive director of the Métis National Council from 1999 to 2005 and 2009 to 2011. And again, there was
Which, by the way, would mean that they were working with a non-Métis if it's true, if she's not Métis. So, in pointing the finger about who's got Métis, blah, 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 you're not Métis, but then you're working with one in a higher up position, go ahead. Well,
and
allegedly, anyway.
And also on Twitter on March 2018, there's a Twitter post from the Métis National Council that clearly says that she is the MNC policy advisor. So she has all these high-ranking positions through the MNO and MNC through the years, and allegedly she's not Métis. Allegedly she's not even Indigenous. And in the January 27th, 2022 court document, it says that by employment agreement with the MNC that was executed in March of 2019, that Wenda was employed by the MNC as executive director, and the employment agreement is governed by the laws of the province of Manitoba as well. So there she has a high ranking position, and this is now another.
Well, if they got a non-Métis in there, right? If this allegation is true that this individual is not Métis, why not just bring you somebody in from the east and put them in there? Because you've been saying these people ain't Métis, these people ain't Métis, but then you got one in there allegedly that's not Métis in a higher position. Like, what the hell is really going on here? That's what we want to know.
And I think the point that Timothy is trying to make and what we're trying to make is that there should be no reason in any Métis organization, a non-Métis, non-Indigenous person should have an executive position, a position of power that controls money. So and allegedly, what you're really doing is you're putting somebody from the colonial system to manage your money. So you're getting your money from a colonial government, and then you're going to stick somebody that is non-indigenous, allegedly non-Métis, in an executive director position. Obviously, they have a lot of power. They're wielding a lot of power, and if you're going to cry, this person is not Métis, this person is not Métis, clean house first
First,
and make sure. And I think what really this will bring it into light first, because we know that the MMF, Gudon, and a lot of people have been very vocal about Métis in the East and non-Métis people. And this is allegedly, this was indicated in the January 27th, 2022 statement of claim, where they say, and this is allegedly, that each of Chartier and Wenda Watney have attained executive positions at the MMF. So
at the MMF, folks. I mean, my God, that's in the statement of claim, right?
that's right. That's in the
And
statement
so,
of claim.
so I would take that as highly a source that should be really looked at, because they must know something there, right? So is she at the MMF? And it's just concerning, because there is, and I want to go back. Let's take it back a little bit to Wilgerdon. I think he's doing a great job in the housing area. I really do. I like the fact that he said that they're going to be working with Métis contractors. I think that's a great thing. And I do. And again, we're sitting on the fence, so we're talking about all organizations. We're not controlled by any damn organization. And if we have questions about organizations, then we're going to bring them up. And if we have good things to say about organizations, we're going to bring them up. And I'm sure in this video, organizations that are on both sides of that damn fence, they are not going to like this show. But hey, guess what? We got valid questions here, and we got valid statements. And I'm ashamed at what's going on right now within the MNC. I'm very disappointed in what's going on within the MNC right now, with them actually wanting the money back. Because here's why. Here's why I'm upset. I'm upset because they have not been transparent, like the parrot keeps saying, transparency, transparency. They have not been transparent, period, about the financials. We don't know jack shit about the financials. But what they did was they threw out this huge ass distraction, this statement of claim. And when they threw that out, guess what? They wanted everybody to jump on it. And they wanted everybody to I guess, to say, hey, Stop worrying about the financials because we're going to give you something else to go on. Well, yeah, we ain't falling for that bullshit. We still want the financials released, MNC. And so, I think it's wrong. Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen that is questionable. Should they have been allowed to take the money without the organizations voting on where the money goes? But let's look at it this way: there was close to $30 million into the Veterans Fund, right? Manitoba was going to get a large chunk of that anyway. So you're not going to get it back. And if you did get it back, why in the hell? What would you do with it? Would you put it out there for everybody to see what you're doing with it? Because we ain't seen none of that shit yet. Like, what have you spent so far?
And I think, again, what really bothers me about Métis veterans, and I'm just going to keep harping and harping, is that it says, and you'll see it throughout the show as well, the Métis National Council, where they welcome you to the Métis Nation Veteran website. This is right from the MNC website just days ago, and it's clearly telling you to direct your inquiries by mail to the Manitoba Métis Federation in Manitoba. We have not been told yet who is handling the Métis Legacy program. Who's running it at the MNC? Is the MMF still involved? If they, according to the website, you're telling Métis veterans to contact the Manitoba Métis Federation. So, like Timothy said, was it wrong for them to take the allegedly $9 million when the MNC is directing veterans to contact Manitoba?
Yeah,
Was
was
it?
it wrong?
Because
Because you can look at your
it
screenshot
says right
right
here.
now. It's saying to contact Manitoba. It's saying to contact them. Now you're saying it's wrong, and where in the hell is the rest of the money? You give us pieces of information, and it's not the complete picture of what's going on with the financials. Because let me tell you, when we were given the information on what was going on with the registry of the MMF, guess what? That same registry review was conducted on all the organizations. Guess what? They didn't hand over that shit. They only handed over the MMF registry to us. So we wasn't given. When I say they, we're not saying who gave it to us, but what we're saying is someone gave us that information, and someone did not give us the rest of the information. They gave us pieces of the information, and so you can only make the assumption that yeah, we found issues within the MMF registry. There were some issues there. We did a show on it, but what the hell kind of information and issues would have been in those other reviews? Because we haven't seen them. Isn't that odd, folks? Just like we haven't seen the damn financials. We haven't seen the financials. Instead, what they do is they release a statement of claim. And what you think we're so stupid that we're going to give up on the damn financials? No, we fight corruption and we fight the bullshit that's been going on. And we're not going to let this go. The people want to see the damn financials.
So I think, in a nutshell, and the way I personally see it is that at the moment, the Métis National Council is not being transparent. And it's
Well, they're not.
the proof is out there because, like I said, if you go to the Métis National Council website, the last financial statement that was made available where you could click on to any Métis citizen again was March 31st, 2020. What happened to the March 31st, 2021 statement? At the end of March, which is the end of next month, we won't have financials for 2 years. 2 years. That's not being transparent. Another thing, again, that I have a thorn in my sash, and I will keep pursuing this, is the Métis veterans again. And this was just taken days
And
ago.
guess what? There's a lot of them in Manitoba. So regardless of whatever the hell you want to say, part of that split, part of them millions was gonna go to Manitoba, like it or damn don't like it. I don't give a shit. And so, was it wrong when on your own damn website it says to contact Manitoba, man? Get your story straight at least, man. This is where inexperience of having a president in a seat that has to be, as we were told in private messages, mentored. Come on, man. Get off that bullshit.
And again, Métis National Council, again, it's very disturbing. And I'm sure you've got somebody that is running your website or your web page. I mean, you got the money. Why are you still directing Métis veterans? It said right here, contact us in regards to the Métis Veterans Legacy Program. Contact the Manitoba Métis Federation. So to me, when I see the alleged $9 million that you're saying Chartrand took from the Métis uh, Veterans Legacy Fund, if you're still telling people that click on the website to contact MMF, would that have been wrong for Chartrand to do that?
And they did
That's a,
it. They did it before the exchange of power, so to speak, and before we got a lesser president in the office there. And we wanted, keep in mind, folks, we wanted Chartier out of the MNC, but we damn sure didn't want an inexperienced person who does not have the warrior spirit to lead a damn nation. You can't do that. I mean, if you don't realize that y'all have put the wrong person in president as president of the MNC, I mean, how clearer could it be? On your, do you not read your damn website? And what's up with the website? What's going on with the information you're showing to people? You're speaking one thing and people are reading something else. So what the hell's really going on in the nation? There's a bunch of hypocrisy on both sides of the damn fence.
so my question to President Cassidy Karen is, as a Métis citizen, I would like to know who is running the Métis Veterans Legacy Program. Who is running that program? Because according to your website, you're asking people to contact the Manitoba Métis Federation. Where have
Well,
you
hell, if they running it, give them all the damn money because obviously you're telling people that's who's running it. So are they still in control of it?
there's been so much inaccuracy, and for a president to say, I won't be speaking on this matter anymore, bullshit. You are a president, and this is financials, and a statement of claim is more important than going to see the Pope in bloody Rome. Get off your. I mean, not everybody has the opportunity to have an
I,
all expenses pay trip to Rome where you can go and sightsee and have a quick visit with the Pope. You know what, man? Métis citizens matter. You issue a statement of claim and you're not going to talk about it anymore. Bullshit. Pull up your big girl panties and do the job that you were elected to do. Do not be a puppet where you have to have the strings pulled when you can open your mouth and when you can say this or that. Grow a big sash and wear it proudly.
And let me tell you, this is the thing. This is what I want to say to all the Métis veterans in Manitoba. How do you feel that now this inexperienced president and their little clique that they got, trust me, it's a little clique there that they got. How do you feel that they want to take the money back from the MMF, the money that's meant to go to you in Manitoba as veterans? That money, that legacy fund money for the veterans was actually supposed to be split. And guess what? They did it say that they took all of it? No, it said they took a portion of it. Again, we're getting bits and pieces of information fed to us. And what's in the darkness needs to come to the light because we need the whole information. We don't. Where in the hell is the rest of the damn money? If you're saying they took 9 million, if that's to go to Métis veterans, it's not up to your ass to try to take it back to the MNC because that shit, that damn money belongs to the Métis veterans, not to you, you tourist.
And further to that, and again, this is from the MNC financial statements dated March 31st, 2020, and it's under deferred revenue. And it clearly says that the Métis Veterans Legacy Fund was what was left was just over 29 million. So allegedly, in your statement of claim, you're saying that the MMF allegedly took 9 million. That would mean that there's still over 20 million left. We know that during 2020 was the time of COVID where you couldn't personally go visit veterans to give checks.
Hey, hold on. But let me say this. I know I don't look. This is the thing. No, they couldn't personally go and visit, right? But have you heard of direct deposit? Maybe it's not attached to a selfie cam. I don't know. But have you heard of direct deposit? Go ahead.
What I'm trying to get at is, okay, you're saying that the MMF allegedly took 9 million. That means that there would be over 20 million left of the Métis Veterans Legacy Fund. In your statement of claim, or to any Métis citizen, have you told anybody how much is left of the Métis Veterans Legacy Fund, and where is it sitting? Where is it sitting? Have you been transparent and told us, okay, allegedly the MMF took 9 million, there's over 20 million left? Is there an accounting of how many veterans that maybe virtually you've given checks to? How much is left of the Métis Veterans Legacy Fund? Can you see where the MNC is not being transparent at this particular time?
Yeah, how much is left? And if you're waiting on photo ops, that's not about photo ops, man. It's about getting the money to the people. It's not about waiting till I can go and have a picture took of me handing a damn check. Direct deposit that shit, Métis veterans accounts. That's what you can do. Or you guess what? You can mail a check. Yeah, you can actually, believe it or not, you can actually write the check, walk up to the mailbox, and as you're putting it in there, have your picture took. If that's what you're waiting on.
And for me, the more I read the statement of claim that was January 27th, 2022, I'm really thinking it was just something of shock factor. I think it really the purpose maybe, and this is my opinion, is that it was to deflect, defer away from what was really going
Distract.
on, really, because it's created more questions uh, than answers. And then you have the MNC president saying allegedly she's not going to deal with this anymore. Well, damn straight you're going to deal with it, because you know what? I'm not going. And you know what?
Oh well, elect a damn president that has the courage to deal with it. That's the problem. That's the problem. They put in somebody who lacks courage. They put in somebody in the seat that doesn't have that warrior spirit. That we need to put a period on the end of this. Well, how in the hell are you going to put a period on the end of that if you cannot release the damn financials for everybody to see? There is no period to put on the end of it without us seeing the damn financials. So stop that bullshit. And this distraction is nothing. And again, we got things to say about both sides of the fence on this damn show. So if y'all not happy about it, we don't give a shit. We just don't. Because at the end of the day, when you're a warrior, like we're Métis warrior, and we fight for the rights of the people, and you don't have a side of the fence that you're particularly on, sometimes you feel like, but let me tell you something, we're not, because we represent the people. All you that's sitting in there in your cushy little jobs up there in the board and doing this and this. I mean, come on, man. But let's see some pay cuts, man. Let's see some money going back to the people. We don't need to see any damn pay raises.
And I think that thing that bothers me too is this has really bothered me. Before you decide to take an all expenses paid trip to the Vatican, Rome, to see the Pope,
Ain't
make
that being paid for by the Catholics?
I think it was the Canadian Association of Catholic Bishops. That money should have been to residential school survivors.
Yeah.
But before you take an all expenses paid trip to Rome or whatever, make sure that in your Métis nation there is not one Métis person that is homeless, that is going hungry, and that doesn't have a job and doesn't have money before you jet off. Can you imagine in Rome how many photo ops we're going to see of
Oh,
MNC
good
Cassidy Karen?
God. It makes me want to
It's
vomit, man.
it's actually absolutely disgusting. And you know what? I'm really ashamed. This president should have come out, and I've heard this through the grapevine. I talked to a lot of people on social media. Cassidy Karen is not accessible to the Métis people. She's accessible to the politicians when it's a photo op, but there are
Yeah.
people that I know in my circle that have asked her questions.
She will not
She will not
respond.
respond. I think she's
Well,
got to.
hell, we've asked her questions. She would not
Well, she
respond.
has to have her puppet master prepare
Whoever
some kind
that
of a
is. We got
statement.
some ideas. Is it Fro? Is it Fortress? I mean, who is your puppet master? Who's pulling them damn strings, right? So you think You think that you actually threw out a statement of claim and that would distract us from the financials that we've been asking for? You didn't give the people what the hell they've been asking for, and we represent the people. And people, let me tell you something. We have the numbers. You got to get out there. This show is important. You got to call up people that don't use social media. You can play the show for them to hear. Put your speakerphone on. This message needs to get out there for every voter because we're going to make a damn difference. We can make a difference everywhere in every organization, even the butthurt people out there that has, yeah, you didn't, let me ask you something, you butthurt individual out there. You didn't think that we knew that you were talking about us. I want to explain something. Métis Warriors, two voices, right? It's me and Alexandria. However, we have people in every damn organization that reports to us and gives us news and blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Did you think that you could have the audacity to talk about us and say this and this and this, and it was not going to get back to us? Did you really think that? Did you believe that?
And again, the statement of claim, if this is going to go to the courts or whatever, I mean, it's kind of just shocking. I mean, this would rip your allegation about the MMF apart if an attorney went to your own website and said, well, why are you asking Métis veterans to still go to the Manitoba Métis Federation?
Yeah.
Would that throw the allegedly $9 million out the window? Because you can't even have your website done properly. So that would throw that legally right out the window. Because
We would think. I mean, we don't know.
I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
we're no damn attorneys, but hey, we would think that if you're still advertising for you contact the MMF. I mean, yeah, I don't understand for them to actually make a point about the Métis veterans in Manitoba, to make that an issue in a statement of claim, that really pisses me off. It pisses me off because the one thing that we don't play with is when it is veterans. So when veterans need money or the veterans are entitled to get money, guess what? They should get that money. That shit should have never been put in that statement of claim. Let me tell you that. Because have you ever served your country? Because these people that put that shit in the statement of claim, have they ever served their country? I'm just curious here. There's people that went out there and served, man. And if they're entitled to money, they should get the damn money. And you should not have put that in your distraction called the statement of claim. And interesting enough, if you look at it really, the statement of claim is them wanting money back. Now that's scary. It's scary because they haven't released financials, but they want all this money, millions of dollars back. What the hell do you plan on doing with it? That's our question.
And I think, I'm not a legal mind, and this is just my opinion, is maybe this statement of claim will stop MNC financials to be available to the public, maybe because it's going through a court system. I don't know the dynamics behind it.
No, they can make their financials
I don't know the
public.
dynamics.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, they had an option to do that before they even filed the statement of claim. So maybe they can use that as an excuse to not make the financials public. But I don't even think that shit's not going to fly because the people have a right to know where the money's going. And again, we got complaints on both sides of the fence, for both sides of the fence, and we got compliments for both sides of the fence. And so I want to touch on something. Uh, we know that every organization out there needs board members replaced by voting them out of office and bringing in good people that don't talk one out of the side of one mouth about how they support democracy, but then have their feelings hurt when we may hint to something that's in their area. Because guess what? We work for the people. We actually support the Métis people. So there's no organization that can half-ass some shit and think that we're going to be okay with it because we're not. And so that's on both sides of the fence. So what I want to say is let's look at let's address some issues real quick. And if you want to compliment, say something on it, you can. So I want to take these areas and look at it. In Saskatchewan, Glenn McCullum, he loves to do the radio show, right? There's a radio show out there that he loves to do. We put out many invitations for anybody to come on the show that has anything positive to say about the MNS. Not one damn person has took us up on that offer to go public and say anything positive about the MNS. Yeah, I just think that's odd. But, he did run a fair election. Now, let's speak to the people in Saskatchewan. You're complaining that you didn't have your papers ready or something was wrong or whatever. You don't wait to the last minute to do that. We know there will be more elections, right? Get all your stuff in order. All you people that have not been voting because you feel like you gave up hope. I'm telling you, there is hope. We're going to make the difference. What you do is go get everything that is required for you to vote and get it in order now. Make sure everything's in order for upcoming elections. That way, you don't have to complain about, oh, I couldn't vote because I didn't have this. Ask what the requirements is and let your voice be heard by casting the vote. Now, you can't complain. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks that some people didn't get the vote, it seems, because they didn't have things in order, but there was a criteria there. And yeah, all right, so now let's go to British Columbia. Overall, we think British Columbia is doing a good job. However, there is some things have come to our attention in British Columbia, but we are happy that Lisa won the election. And so, it takes time to get everything worked out. And we've seen a lot of improvement there and a lot of progress, but we do have a couple of concerns, but we'll address that down the road if things don't progress better. So now let's look at the M&O. Let's look at Ontario, right? Ontario, we know that they've been accused of having non-Métis in. Well, okay, so we just mentioned the one lady that worked there. What's her name again?
Her name is Wenda Watney, and if I'm pronouncing the last name, it's spelled Watteyne. If I mispronounce it, I apologize.
Right. And so they said, oh, you got all these non-Métis in there, blah, 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 or whatever they're accused of. And then, yet, you use the same individual at the MNC, and now, allegedly, in the statement of claim, she's now at the MMF. So what's up? Is she Métis? Is she not Métis? We're hearing from sources she's not Métis. She's not even Indigenous is what we're hearing. So, I mean, somebody could probably clear that up. That'd be great. But before we go to Alberta, I want to shoot back to Saskatchewan real quick. We did hear that President Glenn McCullum got rid of honorariums. We're still working on verification for that. Apparently, some of the honorariums were being misused, is what was reported. Now, if he did do that, then that's a good thing, right? If he stopped the misuse of honorariums being misused in a bad way, then yeah, we will give credit there. I mean, people think because we report on stories that we after this organization or we after this person or no, it's not about that. What it's about is fair treatment. It's about transparency, and we're going to report on the story. It doesn't matter if you're in our circle or not. We are going to report on the story. And again, that's why we sit on the fence. We're on the damn fence because both sides of the fence are having issues. And yeah, and now I want to go to Alberta real quick. We know a lot of problems out in Alberta where citizens are complaining. And again, get your paperwork in order. Make sure that you're going to be able to vote in upcoming elections because that's how you make the difference, folks. And you make the difference by voting. So make sure everything is in order because, again, M&A is not the only voice out in Alberta. We do have the Alberta Métis Federation, right? AMF.
That's right.
So there's another organization out there. But if you don't like them and you want to stay with M&A, then guess what? You're gonna have to vote the right people in office or stop complaining. All the elders, you need to get out there and vote. All the youth, you need to get out there and vote because that's how we're gonna make the difference.
And again, like Timothy said, the Métis Nation of Alberta, severe change needs to happen. There's so much turmoil in Alberta, and people that speak out against the president, Audrey Portra, lateral violence, lateral damage. We need a complete shakeup in Alberta. There needs to be a changing of leadership there, no doubt in my mind. And I think.
But hold on, I didn't get to talk about the MMF when I was addressing all the organizations that's out there right now that we currently were reporting on. The MMF, for one thing, I'm compliment the housing program run by Will Goudin. Great job. We like the fact that you're making sure you combating homelessness and you're using Métis workers. You're not, and that's an excellent thing, excellent path to go on. We do know the MMF has been doing great things here recently. And it seems like, well, damn, can't everybody just do great things? We do know there's been several hardcore issues with the MMF that we had in the past. There's been issues with Chartrand. There's been issues with Chartier. Yes, we've had issues. We had complaints, and we addressed those in other shows. And because we've been doing this for 4 years now, and we was on a different channel. We had over 100 episodes, and we've been doing this. We're the ones that busted open them doors and started reporting on things that other news outlets were not reporting on. But yeah, did I miss anybody?
Well, I'm going to step in here and give my 2 cents, because I certainly have a problem with Métis organizations using non-Métis, non-Indigenous people to tell us who we are. I'm not going to name any names. We all know the names. I have a severe problem with that. And I have a severe, severe problem with Métis politicians not staying in their own, the lane that they were elected to do. Meaning, if you're elected to be a housing minister, for an example, you focus on that. You don't focus on Métis identity and all this kind of bullshit out there. You stay in your lane. You do the job you're supposed to be doing. If you're doing a good job, that's
Well, Will
great.
Godin's doing a great job.
I have a different opinion on that. We all have our opinions,
Well, I
but
mean, I've been keeping up to date on that.
oh,
I feel like he's really done a great job in
but he
Allen.
likes to put his foot in controversy on other areas that he shouldn't be. There's ministers of culture, etc., that should be speaking on Métis identity. He should stick with housing and stick with that, because I have a problem with that. And like I said, I have a huge problem with various Métis organizations using allegedly non-Métis, allegedly non-Indigenous people in executive director high positions of power. And I will always, always have a problem again with how now the MNC is handling the Métis Veterans Legacy Program. I'm going to keep on that like flies to dog doo doo. I'm not going to give up on this, because the MNC is not being transparent. I'm tired of this smoke screen. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Bullshit. No, you are going to talk about this to your citizens. Forget what outfit you're going to wear to see the Pope for your photo op. Be a true leader. Don't be a puppet. And I'm disgusted on the way the Métis National Council is handling the lack of financials to its citizens. There's no way in hell that the last financials released from the MNC should be March 31st, 2020. And if you're screaming about allegedly $9 million of veteran money, where in the hell is the
The rest of the
balance,
money.
the $20 million? If you're going to scream about $9 million, where in the hell is the rest of it? And who in the hell is really
And,
running the Métis Legacy Program? Who's running it?
and what does she think? Well, you gotta. What do they think at MNC? I keep referring to she, but I mean, obviously she must have other people inputs there. And my thing is, what are they thinking? What are they going to do with that money? That would be my concern. Like, because the Manitoba, who was a part of it at the time of the deal, the veterans in Manitoba, are you saying they don't matter? Is that what the accusation is here, or the point is, or which thing? Does the Métis veterans in Manitoba not matter to the MNC? I'm highly encouraging they remove that from their statement of claim, because look at it this way: almost $30 million. That money gets divided up between the organizations and the veterans in different areas. Manitoba is absolutely entitled to the money. Now, we don't know where the hell the rest of the money went, but if it's just $9 million they took, guess what? That's that goes to Métis veterans, folks, and Métis veterans are in Manitoba as well. And you should never try to take money back from the Métis veterans.
And again, like I said, it's clear as day on the Métis National Council website, where they're directing people to contact the Manitoba Métis Federation at the Métis Veterans Legacy Program in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So what kind of message are you giving? Like I said, it's such complete bullshit. I'm just so sick of this smokescreen from the MNC and not putting financials out, diverting with the smokescreen with the statement of claim to get everybody off track on asking hard questions. Like, I mean, I'm just sick of it. I mean, Cassidy, President Caron, I'm sorry, President Caron,
I don't
do
call
your
her
job.
president.
Well, whatever. I mean,
Shit, Cassidy, call her Cassidy. I'm not referring to her. It's a disgrace to the word president to even address her name after that title. What I'm gonna say here is this: I do agree that if Will Goudon, because we're going to go back to Will, if he's saying hollering about people that are not Métis, and you were talking about staying in your lane and stuff like that, right? If he is saying that, folks, I'm not really on social media. I just don't do it, so I'm not keeping up with everything like that in that aspect of it. But what I will say is this: that if you can't have somebody sitting on the board of the MMF that is not indigenous, Métis allegedly, but then holler about everybody else that's not Métis. It doesn't make no sense because this lady got a hell of a severance package, did she not?
well, according to the statement of claim, and this is allegedly, that Wenda got a severance payout or severance payment of $374,000, which is equivalent to 24 months' salary. So that's equivalent to 2 years' salary she
Yeah.
got from the MNC. And allegedly, she's not Métis. Allegedly, she's not Indigenous. So again, what you're saying
Eh,
about Minister Goudon shouting who's not Métis or whatever. So why in the hell? And
well,
this is,
he's not the only one that does that, right? A lot of people do
well,
that.
he's the most vocal on social media.
Well,
So
see,
clean house
I
first.
don't do the social media, but my thing is this. Uh, Again, I think everybody's entitled to voice their opinions. Uh, and when you work so hard to build up a nation, and then we do legitimately have non-Métis that has infiltrated all areas of the nation. Yeah, that's a problem, and that should be not allowed. Non-Métis should not be allowed. However, there's many people that have been accused, and we just heard from one yesterday, of not being Métis that is absolutely Métis. And so, you can't go out there and falsely accuse people of not being Métis when you haven't seen their damn genealogy. And that's why, even though this lady that worked for the MNC, that's when she's
Wenda.
Wenda, when she's says that she's not Métis or whatever. Allegedly, people are saying she's not Métis. We don't just accept that at face value because we have not seen her genealogy. So how in the hell do we know if she's Métis or not? But when you do ask the question in this show, and people can address that, and that would be great to put it out there because if you are on the board anywhere in any Métis organization, I think that you should be Métis and you should prove that you're Métis if you're on a board.
Okay, but my question too is, why has this Wenda Watney or whatever her last name is been having executive positions in MNO, MNC, and now, according to the statement of claim, allegedly with the MMF? So, why does she rank to get all these executive positions
Right.
in Métis organizations if allegedly you're not Métis, allegedly you're not Indigenous? What, and I found this on the internet. I don't know if it's true. This is an allegation. Apparently, she was, and this is allegedly, an executive assistant at the UK Parliament. UK is Britain, so
Right.
colonial Britain.
Right. So colonial Britain, and again, this is just stuff that's floating out there on social media or the internet or whatever. But my thing is, it can be cleared up easily, and if they clear it up, we gladly will put it in the show that yes, she's Métis or yes, she's Indigenous. But we've heard from what we consider reputable sources that she's not. So we'd be happy to put out there if she is, if they want to release that information, or does she want to come out and say that she's not Métis and not Indigenous? I mean, we don't know. I haven't seen her genealogy. And when it comes to like social media type stuff and people voicing their opinions here and there, that's one thing. But when it comes to people doing stuff out in the field in their areas and doing good for the Métis people, I think that speaks volume to the character versus what somebody may say on social media. And so we look at what people are actually doing for the people. And right now, we ain't seeing shit from the MNC.
Well, to me, like I said, and the MNO clearly said that Wenda was the acting chief operating officer in 2016, and again in March 2018, the MNC that she was a policy advisor. So why are you having people like this going back and forth in Métis organizations? Allegedly, if they're not Métis, allegedly if they're not Indigenous, what do they have that a Métis candidate doesn't have? Are they part allegedly of the colonial government to keep track of money from the federal government to keep an eye out? I don't really know what's going on, but it stinks. It stinks like rotting bannock. It fucking stinks.
And I just want to say this, that yeah, we have people out there. Again, we're the voices, but we have people out there that's doing a lot of great work, keeping up with things, and then they come back, and we all have conversations about it. And being that we have people in our organizations, we have different views. I think a lot of times when people reach out to people, they may think that they're actually speaking to me and you when they're actually speaking to someone that's actually with us. And reason why we do not release the names of those people that's associated with us, one, we protect everyone. All of our sources are protected. We keep them anonymous. And so that's the biggest reason. And obviously, if these people's names was released, that does help us out. That want to remain anonymous, then obviously they would not be in the position to really see what's going on as they are now. And what I want to say is, we were contacted by an individual a couple of years ago, several times, who was sitting on the board, and he may not understand why we did not respond back to him. And I kind of want to address that now and say that we didn't respond back to you because at the time we considered you to be part of the problem. As we say, we have people everywhere. And so, when you reached out to us, obviously we had somebody already in that area. And so when we talked to that individual, then it came a possibility that you were really part of the problem. If you genuinely wanted to change things, we invite you. You could always contact us and talk or whatever. But at that time, you reached out to us a couple times. We did not respond back. You know who you are. We will not mention your name, and we haven't over the years. We have never mentioned your name that you contacted us. So we just didn't respond back to you. But we do appreciate everybody that reaches out to us. But we're not going to play no backstabbing hypocrisy game. If you really want a legitimate change and you want to make change for the good, that's great. But if you're somebody in our circle that we talk to, and if there's issues with your organization, we're going to call you out on it, and we know you're not going to like it. But and that's just the way it is.
And how I would like to end this again, and I'll always be a firm believer of this, is non-Métis, non-Indigenous people should not be in the capacity that can be involved in telling us who we are and who we are not. I'm a firm believer of that if you're not Métis, you're not Indigenous, you don't have a right to get involved in Métis Indigenous identity. You just don't have that right. There's so many qualified Métis Indigenous people out there that should be doing that. There's no organization that should be paying somebody that's non-Métis,
Well,
non-Indigenous.
well, I
That's my
want to.
opinion.
Actually, that just reminds me of something, because Will likes to say that mixed doesn't equal Métis. And that is true. And I want to explain to you why it's true. Why it's true is because if you're Japanese and Native American, well, you're not Métis. So knowing that, if you're Arab and Native American, how in the hell are you Métis? So I'm just asking a question, because we know that Métis comes from specific countries and Native American, and there's some countries that do not fit into that, what Métis is. So when Will goes out there and he says mixed does not equal Métis, yes, Métis people are mixed. They're mixed with Native and what
European, as you said.
Métis and European, but they're not mixed with Métis and Japanese or Métis and Chinese. That doesn't make Métis. So we need to understand that. And so,
Well, allegedly, this is allegedly, there are some people that don't fit that criteria, and it's alleged that they have MMF cards.
yeah, I mean,
Just
let's
saying,
go back to somebody who may be Arab because all right,
Arab.
all right, but no, no, what I'm trying to tell you is this: if you from if you're Arab and then you're mixed with a Native American in your bloodline there, you are not Métis. So now, with that being said, they like to talk about how people from who has ancestors from 300 or 400 years ago is not Métis. That's I forget the exact years they like to stop at, but they say that that's not Métis, right? So then there is people with MMF cards that we question how in the hell did they have an MMF card? Because obviously, when you look at some of their family history, I don't understand how they, if mixed is not Métis, but yet Métis is mixed. So that's where the confusion comes in because people don't understand. If you're Métis, you are mixed with European and indigenous, right? So if you're, so that is mixed, but not all mixed people are Métis. And so, uh, in the sense of what we're saying, calling Métis in Canada. So you got to understand that, yeah, I know it gets confusing, but yeah.
Well, it gets confusing when you have the wrong people that are pushing Métis identity as a narrative, and they have no business doing it. So they muddy the waters by personal propaganda and whatever it is that they are trying to push. So it does get confusing, and so many people should not have cards. They really, technically, according to these organizations, don't fit the criteria, but yet they allegedly have cards. So, I mean, I just
Well,
don't understand that.
well, if you're going to keep with one definition and you're going to keep, well, this is the way that it is, then you need to stay that way. You can't deviate and say it's okay for you to do it and accept these people that fit outside your own definition, but it's not okay for other people to do that or whatever. It's hypocrisy, and so you got to stay with what is really Métis. With that being said, yes, there's a lot of non-Métis that has infiltrated our nation, and there's people who are being called non-Métis who are actually Métis, and so that, but that's a whole
Well,
different argument.
they don't fit the narrative. That's all.
And kind of what we focus on is corruption and transparency, and we're here to fight for the rights of the Métis people. We're here to bring transparency, as much of it as we can, to the Métis people, and that's why this show is so important, because everybody got so excited over that statement of claim that what you got to do is you got to actually call up people that don't use social media, put your phone on speaker, play the show, let them hear this show. We got to reach all voters.
And I think we want to encourage all Métis people to look beyond what is written in this statement of claim, because I mean, I could easily pick apart a few things, and it was just easily done. But again, I think it's just a smokescreen, a diversion, a distraction from the financials. And I think later on, I think we should really address in a show about how allegedly non-Métis, allegedly non-Indigenous people in numerous Métis organizations hold positions of power as executive director, etc. Why is this happening among almost every single Métis organization? Why do they rank and not have a qualified Métis candidate in there as an executive director? There's something in regards to colonial that is put in the mix.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
something's not on up and up. Again, the takeaway from this show that you should really understand is that distraction with a statement of claim. That statement of claim was not a release of the financials. Yes, it has some key information in there that was great to release it, but you're cherry picking the information you want to release, and that kind of like, it really, you should release entire financials for everybody to see, not cherry pick something that just will make somebody, in an attempt to make somebody look bad. What you need to do is release all the financials. And again, no money that's ever given to a Métis veteran should be taken from the Métis veterans. I disagree with that being in the statement of claim, because we know even if everybody was at the board, that money was going to be split. And the Métis in Manitoba that are veterans, they are qualified to receive that money. And so, yeah, how in the hell can you sit up there? Uh, but I mean, we're talking about somebody who did a Veterans Memorial thing with herself all in the video. Like I'm just dreading the whole trip to Rome, you know, because that's kind of like, golly, man.
Well, that trip to Rome to see the Pope, whoever is paying for it, if it is the Association of Catholic Bishops, that is actually disrespectful to residential school survivors. The money that is being spent on this trip, the travel, hotel accommodations, should go to residential school survivors, not for a paid holiday to Rome. And I think my ending thought is why, and Métis citizens, why on the website MNC financials, why was the last financials that were made public March 31st, 2020? What happened to 2021? Did it go into a black hole?
Well,
Where's 2021?
what
What
I want
happened?
to see in the next MNC election is I want to see somebody put in as president that has courage. Cass, I mean, we're so damn disappointed in this new president, and it's a disappointment. It really is a disappointment, and we would like to see. And here's what they're going to do: they're going to play this thing out because I think they got a little bit of time here before the next election. But when there's the next election, uh, these people that has put her into power, keep in mind, people, we can vote them out of office and put somebody in office that will put somebody in power that has courage. Those people that sit at the table, they remember they're responsible for putting Cassidy in that seat. And so if they don't want to make the right decisions, it's simple. Vote them out of office. That's it for me.
And again, this is my personal opinion. I truly believe that the Métis Nation is in peril, and it is in peril from within. And that is my opinion. Thank you.